Before putting a new reusable medical device on the market, the manufacturer must define a reprocessing procedure with all the details required by EN ISO 17664 and validate this procedure. The sterilisation stage must eliminate all living microorganisms from medical devices after thorough cleaning. Hospitals may carry out reprocessing internally or they may outsource it. Reprocessing is a strictly organised process and each stage is traceable to ensure that fully functional, sterile devices are available for the operating theatres as soon as possible. During and after an operation, an operating theatre technician collects all the instruments in a carrier, whether they have been used for the operation or not. The instruments are then soaked for 15 minutes in detergent disinfectant and then rinsed and placed in closed transport trolleys. The trolleys are taken to the central sterilisation unit. The MDs are taken to the cleaning zone in their carriers and are sorted by patient, placed on open trolleys and put into the washing machines for a cycle of about 1 hour washing, disinfection at nearly 90 degrees and drying at about 100 degrees. When they leave the washing machines, the MDs are taken to the reassembly zone. Technicians check that the medical devices are clean, dry and in good condition, and they reassemble the sets assisted by a computer. The carriers and traceability labels are placed in containers that allow the sterilising agent to pass through and are loaded into the autoclaves. The sterilisation cycle takes about 1 hour and a half in the autoclaves at a temperature of 134 degrees Celsius and absolute pressure of around 3 bar during 18 minutes. After sterilisation and recording, the MDs are taken out of the autoclaves and are stacked in closed trolleys and sent to the various hospital services to be reused. Most MDs can be simply reprocessed in this way. But some complex medical devices, particularly the most recent, have mechanical or electronic components which require particular attention to sensitivity to water, chemicals and high temperatures, size, packing, traceability. Water and detergents are used throughout reprocessing, so special procedures have to be set up to deal with complex MDs that cannot be fully immersed. The parts that cannot be immersed must be handled separately at the beginning of the process in the operating theatre. In the cleaning zone, they are wiped by hand using a damp cloth. To complete cleaning, these complex MDs are placed in a dryer at 80 degrees Celsius, except in the case of incompatibility to heat. Before being put in a washing machine, the devices need to be immersed in an ultrasound bath to dislodge any dirt in the channels and then cleaned carefully using a pull-through brush. All these operations extend the time taken by the technicians to clean each MD. When all the items in a given set require different cleaning processes, great care has to be taken to ensure that the sets are reassembled correctly. Some particularly fragile MDs are also heat sensitive, making it impossible for them to be steam sterilized. They have to be sterilized at low temperature with vaporized hydrogen peroxide gas. Sterad and V-Pro sterilizers are very expensive and can only handle small quantities. When the different parts of the same MD undergo different sterilization processes, there is an increased risk that these sets will not be complete when they arrive at the operating theatre. To deal with all these constraints, medical device manufacturers should design devices to take account of reprocessing. They should consider providing supports to allow liquid to run off, providing special caps to protect electrical connectors during cleaning and sterilization, and carrying out thorough testing to guarantee that their devices are watertight and compatible with the reprocessing procedures. Technicians must be able to recognize whether a complex MD needs to be dismantled for cleaning and the number of parts it comprises. Special packing has to be used to prevent components being lost during handling, and detailed instructions must be provided for training and giving technicians as much help as possible. Another point to be considered and taken into account when designing an MD is its size, so that it will fit into existing types of carrier. Some hollowed MDs may require additional drying and need to be small enough to be placed flat in a dryer, as a sloping carrier or the blast from a blower during drying could result in small parts being lost. If there is no standard or custom sterilization carrier that can be used for an MD, the device has to be double wrapped by hand using non-woven fabric. This fabric is fragile and the device will no longer be sterile if the wrapping is torn. Wrapping by hand costs time and money. Medical devices are handled many times throughout the reprocessing cycle. They may be fragile and can become twisted, broken or tangled. Appropriate packing must be used to ensure that they remain intact. Packing is rarely provided by the manufacturers and is often improvised by the reprocessing technicians using whatever is to hand. Rubber mats absorb shocks but do not prevent contact between the components and require additional drying to get rid of residual moisture. Custom vacuum-formed packing has the advantage that it fits the MD perfectly, but it often needs additional drying to remove residual moisture. What is more, chemicals may cause cracking, which depends on the material used and the number of times the device has been reprocessed. The ideal solution is still the use of carriers that allow the cleaning and sterilizing agents to circulate freely and allow for fast draining and drying. These come in many sizes. Baskets and tubes can be used for holding and protecting small components. There are many standard accessories and packing components, as well as custom packing provided by manufacturers to guarantee that the MDs are protected and remain complete. ensure that sets are complete, some packing is marked with the part numbers of the components, but this is not a full solution for MDs which can only be used a limited number of times. For these, the MD itself has to be traced and not the packaging. Traceability of MDs can be improved by using data matrix marking. This rapid overview of how central sterilisation units in hospitals operate shows some of the aspects that require particular attention for handling complex MDs to provide cost-effective processes for cleaning and sterilising them and making them available in operating theatres as quickly as possible. In order to maximise efficiency, it is important that manufacturers should contact sterilisation units right from the research and development stage when designing new MDs to ensure that the devices are fully compatible with all the constraints and processes, or discuss how the device can be reprocessed.